You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Locked On Philadelphia Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you guys smash like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, as we'll be breaking down the Phils all season long, especially after this 4-3 10-inning affair against the Washington Nationals. This is how good this game was. This is a great game, and I know it's the Nationals. I know everyone just thinks the Nationals are terrible. They're a baseball team, too. I hate this cliche, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to hate myself in the process of me saying it. They get paid, too. And they took the Phillies down to the wire, and the Phillies just had the answers. The bottom line is this team just wants to win games. And if you have a guy like Bryson Stott stepping to the plate into the seventh inning to tie things up at 2 with his 5th home run of the season, then by golly, I'm going to love it. If you're going to have Kody Clemens, who pinch hit earlier in the ballgame for Edmundo Sosa, he steps up to the plate and he belts a home run with 2 outs on the Phillies. They were just an out away from taking an L to these Washington Nationals and then having to win tomorrow to win the series and keep that series non-losing streak alive. Well, then, you know what? I'm going to enjoy every second, every morsel, every moment Kody Clemens eases into that baseball before belting it to deep center field, 413 feet, to tie this game up at 3 and force the extra frame. And that's all they would need. Bryce Harper steps up, walk-off, sac fly RBI to left center field, plating Johan Rojas. That's baseball, baby. You got to love it. And I love every single second of it. But you know, what's really amazing is that Bryce Harper comes up with the game-winning sac fly RBI. Not even the lead story. Not even the big story. Not even the lead story. A nice story, worth mentioning. But, you know, the gusto of, like, playing the national, Bryce Harper against his former team, you know, not really. But here's what's amazing about it. We'll get into it here with 3 big things in a second. But first, I do have to tell you that this episode of Locked On Phillies Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. So let's start it off with this, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what we got with the Phils. As we started off always, we started off with 3 big things. 3 big things. Cristopher Sanchez gets no decision in this baseball game. But here's what I want to say about Cristopher Sanchez. Cristopher Sanchez, over his last 2 starts, and I know he's kind of had the ups and downs throughout the season, but to break it down start by start, just by the last 2 starts, this guy, Cristopher Sanchez, has gone from looking like a guy that should be in a mop-up role in the bullpen or a guy that just has to come in long relief sparingly. He goes from looking like that guy to Sandy Koufax in the same inning. I've never seen. He goes from that to Steve Carlton. He goes from that to 08 Cole Hamels. That's what he goes from. I haven't seen anything like this. I can't even think of anyone that had this type of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of transformation within the same inning. He'll walk guys like he did against the Mets. He'll put guys on base. He'll give up hits, and he certainly scattered 8 hits today. But you watch him in these games, and all of a sudden you got a runner on first, you got a runner on second. Oh, this looks bad. You got nobody out. Then you got a runner on first, you got a runner on third, you got nobody out. And then he yawns. And then he strikes out the next 3 batters on 9 pitches like he did against the Mets. Or he finds a way out to limit the damage as he did against the Mets, and he certainly did tonight. Now, what do I mean by that? More specifically, in the first inning of tonight's ballgame, Cristopher Sanchez goes out there. And what does he have going for himself in that first inning? Abrams leads off with a single to center field. Vargas steps up and hits a single. So right away, right out of the gate, back-to-back singles. You got a runner on first. You got a runner on third. You got nobody out. Meneses steps up. He gets a single. So now you have an RBI single. You have a run already across the plate. You got 2 more runners on, and you're already down 1-0. You haven't even recorded an out yet. So then he gets Senzel to step up to the plate, and he gets him to ground it in a 5-4-3 double play. Oh, wow. Look at that. And then he strikes out Abrams looking on a changeup, on a low changeup. An 18-pitch inning to which he surrendered 3 hits. He only surrenders 1 run in the process. Cristopher Sanchez limits the damage. Then you go into the third inning. The third inning, Young leads off with grounding out back to Sanchez. Abrams steps up there, gets a single. Vargas gets a single. So again, back-to-back hits. You have 2 runners on. You have a runner in scoring position. He gets another ground ball to get out of this jam. This one courtesy of Meneses, who grounds into the 4-6-3 double play. There was no damage in that inning to Cristopher Sanchez. He was able to get out of it. Now, the next time they were able to score a run on him was all the way in the 5th inning. He only lasted 7 innings today. Pretty good for him. But he goes into the 7th inning. But in that 5th inning, I don't even want to say that he pitched himself out of or more damage or limited the damage, because the way that inning shook out, first off, the person I'm most pissed off about is Nick Castellanos in right field. Nick Castellanos in right field in the 5th inning, I have no idea what he was doing, but the word lollygag comes to mind. But here's how it went down. He starts off that inning, Cristopher Sanchez, by getting Winker to strike out on 3 pitches, which is pretty much what Cristopher Sanchez does if he gets a strikeout. Strikes him out on 3 pitches. Young steps up, very speedy, hits the single to right field. This is not where I'm mad at Nick Castellanos. Just hold your horses there for 1 second. Abrams is the next batter. He steps up. He puts a single into right field. Castellanos, I don't know what's going on here. Now, I know Young is going on the pitch. I don't know if necessarily the hit and run was on per se, or if it was just a happy accident. But anyway, Abrams puts the ball in the right field. Young is already trying to steal second base. So now with contact, he's got a full head of steam. That ball drops into right field. You have Young right there at second base. By the time Castellanos actually got to the ball, gingerly got to the ball, I'll say, you have Young not even at third base yet. Castellanos has no chance. He gives himself no chance to get Young at the plate. That was, my brain melted when I saw that. I was watching it, and I went back. I was like, hold on a second. Where was Young on this? Was there a play at the plate? And I know T-Mac and I know Ruben Amaro Jr., they were talking about it too. I'm like, they would have, at the very worst, had a play at the plate. I personally think they would have gotten Young. As much as he was motoring around third base or towards third base, and as fast as he was, if Nick Castellanos hustles even a little bit, I don't know if he took it for granted that it was just going to be a first to third because the runner was going. I don't know. But he seemed to give up on the play. And that is unacceptable. You got to help out your pitcher who's pitching his butt off. It's the 5th inning. He's only allowed 1 run. He's almost on cruise control with the amount of pitches that he's throwing. Very limited. You have already had enough extra inning games. What is it, like 4 in the last 8 games? Something like that. And then you look at Nick Castellanos. Oh, look. Oh, where is he? No way. That is unacceptable. So the run comes around to score. You're now down 2-1. Phillies going to the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll talk about the offense coming up in a second. But Cristopher Sanchez ended up giving you, well, you could say he limited the damage, I guess. He gave up 2 hits. But he ends up getting out of that one with Vargas grounding out to him, to Sanchez to end the inning. And then you go through the 6th inning, nothing right there. He had a 1-2-3 inning, gets Meneses strikeout on 3 pitches. Again, he was using the changeup rather well tonight. 8 hits, 8 strikeouts for Cristopher Sanchez. And in total, his pitch count, I want to say, was 83 pitches tonight for Cristopher. 92. He got up to 92. 92 pitches for Cristopher Sanchez. 93 for Mackenzie Gore, who, yes, was unfortunately given the Phillies fits until he got out of the ball game. And that's when the Phillies offense started to come a little bit alive. Here's what went down. And the guy I want to focus on is Bryson Stott. We've talked about these numbers before. But April 27th, Bryson Stott was hitting .210 with a .287 on-base percentage. He was slugging .284. Now Bryson Stott, after tonight's game, he got the home run. He got another hit. He ups his average to .280, or keeps it at .280, I should say. And his on-base percentage, which again was at .287 a little over about 3 weeks ago, is now up to .393. Huh? Yeah. Bryson Stott is on fire. And he gets his 5th home run of the season, and I loved it. In the 7th inning there, you saw how it happened. He got a fastball up and in, and he turned on it. And look, I don't like to ever pretend I was a Major League Baseball player, but from what I've heard, the former big leaguers talk about it. What I all hear them say the same thing is they're just sliding the hands well. Bryson Stott is sliding the hands well. He's bringing that bat inside. He's bringing those hands inside, and he gets a great, powerful, quick swing on the baseball. And that's what happened in that seventh inning with one out already in the inning, down a run. Bryson Stott found a way to pick up his pitcher and pick up his team and tie that game at 2-2 with a 370-foot home run to right field. He got a 3-1 fastball up and in, turned on it beautifully, and that's what ended up chasing Gore from the game. Gore goes out, Floro comes in, and Castellanos then grounds out to third. Clemens comes in the ballgame at this point for Edmundo Sosa. He gets a single to center field. Marsh goes up there. He lines out, unfortunately, hit the ball right on that screws, right at Vargas. Otherwise, he would have taken a 3-2 lead. Here's where I was most nervous. Actually, we'll get to that later because I want to get to Matt Strahm. The bullpen tonight, Orion Kerkering gave up a run, unfortunately. Almost in it just by a hair. They were almost able to get the third out of the inning, and the very next batter, Winker, stepped up there, got the RBI single to center field to make it a 3-2 ball game. But Matt Strahm, before that, I want to make sure I give a hat tip to this gentleman. Matt Strahm came on in relief to pitch that eighth inning for Cristopher Sanchez. Matt Strahm gave up a hit, so he sucks now. But anyway, he gave up a hit, recorded the other three outs, got a strikeout, 18 pitches in that inning, lowers his ERA to 0.95. Matt Strahm now has a scoreless inning streak after completing that eighth inning of 18 2/3 scoreless innings. He has 29 strikeouts over that time. We don't mention Matt Strahm enough. And I'm sorry about that, but we don't mention him enough. But you got to celebrate a guy that is coming in each and every time and dominating out of the bullpen like that. That's the guy that at the trade deadline, man, we could really use a slam the door close type of bullpen arm, maybe even a closer. Not suggesting that Matt Strahm should all of a sudden become the Phillies closer, but oh my goodness gracious, every single time he is called upon to perform, he performs, and it is fantastic to see a guy play at that high level. Coming up, I do want to talk about the moment I felt the Phillies were going to lose this ball game. And that's where I thought tomorrow at the 1:35, 1:40 start time tomorrow, I thought we were going to have to sweat it out to see if the Phillies could win yet another series. Now, speaking of sweating it out, the Braves did lose last night. If you listen to the podcast, I gave you both reactions. If you watch the show on Locked On Sports Philadelphia later, or you listen to the Locked On Phillies postcast podcast, then I reacted to both. I said, look at the Braves there. The Braves, they can't believe they lost. Good for them. Glad they lost. And then the other was like, this is, how do they come back and win, right? But they lost 3-1 to the San Diego Padres. So now tonight, they're still playing those Padres. The game was delayed, similarly to the Phillies game getting delayed. And, they totally postponed the game. Okay, that's why I haven't seen a score. They totally postponed the game. The makeup game will be on the 20th. So that game rained out. Phillies then pick up a half game. They pick up a half game on the Braves. I was so into the Phillies, I just forgot to check. But that's where that. So, yeah, Phillies are now 4 games in total up on the Atlanta Braves in the division. Nice to see. Also, they are 74. They are a plus 74 in the run differential column. Plus 74. The Braves are at plus 46. The Phillies right now trail the Dodgers, who are at plus 80 in the run differential, and they are dead even with the New York Yankees, who are also at plus 74 in run differential. Not too shabby. When we come back, I'll talk to you about the moment that I felt the Phillies were going to lose this game, and we'll also talk about Kody Clemens helping the Phillies out tonight. We'll get into all that and more when we return. You're Locked On Phillies postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Oh, you guys know about Supply House. I was talking about it last night. SupplyHouse.com. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is reliable, and it's the reliable way to order your plumbing, your HVAC, and your electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to make sure that you get the job done right. Shop and complete inventory. Over 200,000 parts for every, look at this. This is just fantastic. From over 100 top brands, over 400 top brands, and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get an expert support and an industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. That's what you get right there at SupplyHouse.com. Pros in these skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM. That's supplyhouse.com/TM. And ordering plumbing as well as HVAC and electrical supplies from everywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. All right, before we go any further, I do want to see what you guys are saying about this game. I want to check in on our chat check here. IBH, wow, starting to look like magic. If Kody Clemens is hitting you home runs, magic, baby. Abracadabra. Sanchez looked good, but Castellanos just ew. I love an ew. Thank you, ew. Thank you, Crazy. Ari, happy Saturday. Crazy, you missed. There we go. Ari, nice to see you. Go Sixers checking in again. What's going on? Crazy needed a break after the law. Yeah, I can understand that. I understand that. Go Sixers, 7 innings, 2 runs. Sign me up for that every start. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Cristopher Sanchez this year, it really is amazing. And it's mostly his last 2 starts. He's had some rough starts, but mainly on the road. But that last start against the Mets and then tonight, I have gone from, oh, man, get this guy in the bullpen to Cy Young candidate. That's how I have watched Cristopher Sanchez over his last 2 starts. Again, mop-up role in the bullpen. Sandy Koufax. Ari, do not get me started on movie quotes. Do you know how hard it was for me to say lollygag and not do the whole speech from Bull Durham? Do you know? What does that make? Carl? Lollygaggers. What's our record? 8-16? 8-16. How'd we ever win 8? I think I have those numbers right. I could be wrong. But anyway. IBH, what a shame. When Turner comes back, Clemens will probably be back down to AAA. Well, way to rain on that parade, IBH. There I am all excited, all giddy, all happy. And now you've taken that. No, I'm still very excited. What are you kidding me? Still very excited. Ari Stein, Farzy is your man around the league. I'm happy to report that the Cardinals are opening up a commanding lead against the Bo Sox in the 8th inning. Thank you. Ari's our stringer. We still have stringers in the world? Where you're listening to a game and then somebody else calls in. And by the way, right now at the bottom of the 5th inning in Atlanta, something like that. I don't know. Hey! Fleischer? 236. Farzetta! It's been so long. Glad that I found you. Well, here I am. Hit the jackpot. Let's see here. Oh, and the Cardinals won. Congratulations there, Ari. Harper's game winner is going to start a hot streak for him. I can see it now. I sure hope so. I'd love to see that. Speaking of some things here with the Phillies, let's get into that inning where I thought the Phillies were actually going to lose this. And this is where I was going to lose my mind. So Bryson Stott ties it up at 2. You go the rest of that inning, you can't get things going for yourselves. Unfortunately, after that, it's 1 out when he hit the home run. So you have 2 more outs to play with. They go to the bullpen. Castellanos stays iced, frigidly cold. Kody Clemens gets a single. I'm like, oh, a little 2-out lightning, baby. A little 2-out lightning. No 2-out lightning, unfortunately. And Marsh just unfortunately hit that ball right at Vargas at second base. So it's still 2-2 now going into the 8th inning. Strahm dominates there in the 8th inning. Great to see it. Harper makes a great diving play at first base to back up his pitcher. Vargas goes out there. He does get the 1 hit off Matt Strahm, and it was a double. So he's standing on Second base after a 3-2 fastball was just left up in the zone, and Strahm left it out there, and Vargas just smashed it into the outfield. Meneses then struck out on a high fastball, and that continued the scoreless inning streak for Matt Strahm. So I'm thinking, all right, good vibes are now going the way of the Phillies. So then what happens next? Bottom of the 8th inning, Rojas steps up, delivers the ball into left field. I didn't even think it was that shallow. But Winker took forever to just come into frame. And he fielded it late. Rojas goes up there. He has to stay at first base. Floro goes out. Garcia comes in. Schwarber goes up there to the plate. Garcia has the horrible pickoff move. Rojas then books it for second base. You have a runner in scoring position. You got nobody out. You're already 2 pitchers into the bullpen already at this point. I'm thinking good times are to be had for the Phils. Then Real Muto gets the infield single. I'm like, better things are to be had by the Phils. And I'm like, wait a minute, Rojas isn't on second base? Huh. I saw the replay. I still think Rojas could have made it to second base. If Rojas leads off the bag a little bit more, Abrams seemed like he was going to first no matter what. He had to go deep in the hole to make the play. When that ball left his hand, I thought Rojas was going to book it for second. He didn't. He retreated back. So here's the good of it. You had a runner on first and second with 1 out in the inning. Because Schwarber lined out to Abrams. Then Real Muto steps up, gets the infield single. Abrams has the bad throw. Rojas still stays at second base. The throw was off the bag. Real Muto safe at first. So you have 1 out in the inning. Harper steps up, swings over top a slider. Garcia comes out. Harvey comes in. And I'm like, you got Bohm coming up? You got Bohm coming up with a runner in scoring position? It's a tie ball game. Here we go, baby. He hit a long fly ball to right field. Out. That was it. It was nothing really exciting about it. That was it. And I thought, well, if the Phillies aren't going to capitalize on that opportunity, we're doomed. Orion Kerkering came in the 9th. He allowed 1 run and almost didn't. After the replay, the ruling on the field stood. The call on the field stood. Rosario safe at first. So then he had runners at first and third with 2 outs. And then, unfortunately, you gave up the RBI single to center field by Winker, and you're down 3-2. All was almost lost, folks, until the bottom of the 9th inning. Castellanos first Stott grounded out to second. Castellanos grounded out to short. 2 outs. Kody Clemens steps up, gets into a 1-0 count, takes a pitch that was, I believe, outside, and then he gets a fastball on the outer half of the plate and just whipped the barrel of the bat through the strike zone and smacked that ball 413 feet. Then I was starting to feel pretty good. Once they got in the, I felt really good about the Phillies winning this game once they got into extra innings. But that 8th inning, I thought the mojo was gone. I was already looking at tomorrow, thinking to myself, here we go. We're going to be worried now about what the Phillies are going to be doing coming up tomorrow. Are they going to keep the not losing the series streak alive? Which, by the way, and I know I've referenced it many times, your Philadelphia Phillies, folks, have not lost a series since the 2nd series of the season against the Cincinnati Reds. That's pretty impressive, right? That is pretty impressive. All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at where the Phillies are headed next. We'll take a look at a couple more of your comments. In the meantime, make sure you guys hit like. Make sure you guys hit subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia's YouTube channel. We got our Eagles podcast on here, our Phillies podcast, our Sixers podcast on here as well. Keith Pompey, Connor Thomas. We got our Eagles guys covering the Birds as well. So make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. And you got yours truly covering you for all your postcast needs when it comes to the Phils, the Sixers, and later the Eagles as well. Hope you guys are enjoying. Hit like, hit subscribe. Be back in a second, and we'll take a look at where the Phillies are heading next. You are Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Hey, FanDuel. You having fun on FanDuel? How about a winner take all on FanDuel? Especially as it is right now in the NBA and the NHL. FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. How about that? New customers get $150 in a bonus bets with a winning bet of $5. That's right. Just a winning $5 bet. Bada boom, bada bing. That's you got the money. That's $150 to bet on spreads, to bet on money lines, to bet on player props, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn and make every playoff shot count. We got the playoffs going on right now in the NBA and the NHL. We got MLB in full swing, as we well know. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Your Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow go for a sweep of the Washington Nationals and look to improve to 34-14 on the season. It'll be a 1:35 start time tomorrow. Aaron Nola gets the ball fresh off his complete game shutout of the New York Metropolitans. Nola now 5-2 with a 3.10 ERA on the season. We mentioned that 9-inning affair where he had 8 strikeouts, allowing just 4 hits. It was a 4-hitter against the Mets. And before that, he got beat up a little bit there by the Toronto Blue Jays. So keep it coming there, Aaron Nola. Keep it coming. Unfortunately for the Phillies, if there is an unfortunate against the Washington Nationals, it would be facing Trevor Williams, 32-year-old veteran right-handed pitcher, 4-0 on the season. He has not allowed more than a run in, I believe, 6 straight starts now for him. So he comes into this game 4-0 with a 1.94 ERA. In his last start against the Chicago White Sox, he went 5 innings, allowing 1 run. It was earned on 3 runs. 1 earned run coming on a home run, and he did give up a walk in that one. He only struck out 2. So that's what he is looking like so far on this season. So Trevor Williams, the righty, goes up against the Phillies. You might see a couple more of those other bats. He hasn't faced the Phillies yet this season. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, his last 5 starts. 5 starts. He hasn't allowed more than 1 earned run. The last time he allowed more than 1 earned run was in a losing effort, unfortunately, was against the Oakland, well, for now, the Oakland Athletics in Oakland. He went 5 1/3, allowing 3 runs on 6 hits. Did not surrender the long ball in that one and struck out 7. So that's who the Phillies are facing tomorrow. As for tomorrow, hey, look, I look for continued good news about Trey Turner. Got some good news today from Rob Thompson. Also got some good news today when it came to Taijuan Walker. He's been walking around. Everything seems to be on schedule. It's looking like Taijuan Walker will not be missing a start. Now, you might not like Taijuan Walker. You still might want to be riding the Spencer Turnbull. You know what I'm saying? And I get that, and I understand it. But I'm not all about the transition back to being a starting pitcher when Spencer Turnbull has talked so much about the transition to a bullpen pitcher, seeing him transition back to a regular rotation guy. I could pump the brakes on that for a minute. I give him some time. And it looks like he will get that time, so the Phillies won't have to rush to any judgment anytime soon on that ordeal. Before we get out of here, I do want to make sure I get everybody in here in the chat that's got something to say about this Phillies game. John Getz. I love it. Success breeds a winning mindset. Phils are cooking, mate. Thank you, John Getz, mate. I agree with you. Ari, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Nailed it. Quote machine. You're so easy to bait. I am very easy to bait. I have the attention span of a gnat, not the Nationals, of a gnat, and I apologize for that. But anyway, yes, appreciate you guys. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great. All right, tomorrow I'll be on with you guys right after the Phillies take care of the Nationals and bust out the brooms against this Washington Nationals team and build a little bit more on that 4-game lead they have in the NL East. The Cubs, by the way, another really good National League team. They won against the Pirates tonight. And that's the way that is shaking out. The Dodgers, at the time we do this, are tied. They're scoreless right now against the Reds in Los Angeles. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Once again, make sure you guys hit like. Make sure you guys hit subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. After the Phillies and Nationals wrap things up tomorrow, I'll be right here with you guys to walk you through all the post-game festivities right there and also get you ready for what's next and what will be on tap for the Phillies after this. Looking at my notes, one last thing. One other thing that Rob Thompson mentioned before the game tonight. The Phillies haven't played anybody. The way, I don't know who asked the question in the reporter pool before the game, because the game was delayed here with the Phillies for a little bit because of the weather. Somebody asked the question. People on the internet are saying, people on social media are saying, yeah, you haven't played anybody. I understand you got to ask the question. That's one of my actually favorite things to ask, but it's you got to be upfront. You got to just say to the subject, in this case, Rob Thompson, how do you respond to the argument of you guys haven't played anybody? So there's people saying you haven't played anybody. What have they proven? How do you respond to that? And Rob Thompson handled it beautifully, the exact way you would want him to handle it. You still got to win. You still got to win. And if I look back on the standings right now in Major League Baseball, let's see here. The Yankees, the Orioles, the Rays, those three teams are over 500. Let's see here. The Guardians, the Royals, the Twins, the American League. Yeah, it's pretty tough in the American League. But then you go to the National League. The National League, it's the Phillies, the Braves, over 500. Then it's the Brewers, the Cubs, over 500. Dodgers. There are 5 teams in the National League that are over 500. For the people that want to, cry about the Phillies, and I understand they do have the easiest schedule, mathematically speaking, rated by ESPN. I get it. But you can only play who's in front of you, and the Phillies aren't playing down to those opponents. And if you're playing divisional opponents, those divisional games, as we saw tonight, a 4-3 extra inning affair, another extra inning affair against the Marlins, another extra inning affair against the Mets. You find ways to win those games. And I'm not saying that needs to be the Phillies' MO for the entire season, because when we did that with the Eagles, things fell apart pretty quickly, unfortunately, at the end of the year. But if you stack these wins now, you keep stacking them W's, that'll benefit you greatly come September. Because here's another cliche. Oh, who have they played, right? The other team gets paid too. Here's my last cliche of the evening, okay? I promise. All these wins count the same. Whether you stack them now or you stack them in September, they all count the same. I'm really looking forward still to June when some of these guys really get going. Hopefully that is Nick Castellanos. I'm already expecting it to be Kyle Schwarber. But I'm not going to say that the Phillies are going to hit their stride in June. But what if they continue their trend of really playing their best baseball of the season in June? What if there's a better version of the best record in baseball still left in this Phillies team? We'll continue that process when we watch things tomorrow after their 135 game against the Washington Nationals. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Once again, hit like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Be back with you guys tomorrow. My name is Mark Farzetta. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tomorrow. See you then.